Hello, friends. Melly Ponfidith here, CEO of the SOAR Community Network and co-founder of the SOAR Community Nebula. Our goal is to bring to you 1,000 champions of change and community change agents who are out there creating positive ripple effects to create a better world. And today I am featuring to you my friend, my bundle of light, Rebecca Thompson. Thank you so much for being a part of our initiative.
Thank you, Molly.
I really appreciate you for the work that you're doing. Can you share with our audience what is it that you're focusing on and what work are you currently doing in the world?
Well, I feel like it's a very personal and community and professional work. It feels really huge to me. It's I feel like it's my driving purpose now. And what I do is I believe in two things. I believe that we can somatically, which means our body, release what blocks us. And not just stopping there. A lot of us do mental and emotional work, but I also believe combining that with energetic work. So it's two things that are big missing links in what we're very capable of doing, and that we have the power to somatically release from our bodies our issues and to energetically raise our frequency so that we could evolve, we can emerge. So that's what I feel strongly about.
What drove you to pursue this path and guide others and help others through their healing journey in this way? What was it that guided you to spend your energy, your time, all of the years of learning and training and healing as you were going along to move you in this direction?
Well, it wasn't, I was always fraught with issues. If it wasn't depression, if it wasn't addiction, if it wasn't me being so highly tense or stressed or alert, I'd been working on for some years, just trying to heal myself or get better. And it just felt so elusive. And I think it was a combination of things that happened. I had helped my parents, helped them die with some dignity and some grace. And I just felt like that whole process kind of deepened me. It shifted me. And I realized I didn't want to continue with my corporate life. I was a network senior engineer in networking, and I also I was working in sales engineering, and that life was just crazy and chaotic and tense. Then I helped my parents, I took off a year, and just that kind of work, I started stumbling on what it was, what's my inner landscape? What do I want? What do I need? And then just by the things that happen, and I really believe in synchronicities, I just started reading. And then one time I saw something and it said, Reconnective Healing. And I'm like, what's that? And I felt driven to read all about that. I bought the book and I started playing with energy. Then I actually started working that energy and I would play with it at night. And it was just mesmerizing that, wow, we are capable of moving this energy around. This is miraculous. I still feel that way. A couple of years later, I still feel that it's so miraculous. And then I went and got the certification, and I was doing energy work, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to starve doing energy work. Most people don't understand this. So I was just browsing one day, and then I saw TRE, tension, stress, trauma release exercise. I'm like, what is this? I looked it up. I saw there was training nearby. And then I'm like, well, this looks a little bit more practical. So I'll take this. I went to workshops. It was actually a lot of work. But even when I was in the middle of doing all that and somatically releasing issues from my body, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. But it was like a journey. I didn't quite fully grasp and understand how powerful it is to release what is in us, our tension, our stress, our trauma. It's all like the same continuum. So, before I know it, I was just marrying both. And it's been a deepening journey for me then showing people how they can release, because we're so disembodied. What we don't realize is we work so hard. We can mentally do all that shifting and all that work and maybe go to years and years of talk therapy. It may not be enough. We can heal our broken hearts, but it may not be enough. We can find our gorgeous spiritual awakening, but it may not be enough. We're body, we're form. We have bodies that hold so much. Every day we are tensing involuntarily all the time. So grounding, looking at that inner landscape, looking at our bodies, releasing so much of what hurts us or blocks us, or we have pain, we have tension, we suffer because of our body. And so that whole combination has been this most incredible work for me to look at my life. What am I doing? How do I ground? How do I get clear? I've had a lot of abuse in my life. I've had a lot of addictions, and my life has been chaotic. And this work has given me the clarity and resilience to be able to, it's made my energy work even stronger. So I suppose that was how I feel.
Mesmerizing and listening to you. And I think of every one of us having our own journey and our own sense of pain and sorrow and wonder and joy and all those emotions wrapped inside this vessel that we call
yes.
And we often think about the energy inside of us when we are happy. We can feel, we associate that better than when we are in pain, because we don't necessarily like the way it feels, so we don't try and articulate it as much. But what I've learned from you is, when we've been in those dark places and we've not expressed it and we've not explored exactly what's happening, it stays with us for years and years and years, and then it just becomes a part of our story, a part of ourselves, and we don't even know that we've been carrying it for all those years, that we never released it, we never cut the cord, we never allowed ourselves to move on from that trauma. And it manifests itself in so many things. So I'm just mesmerized, because this is such a big topic, and we could spend, I think, a whole hour on just the work that you do. So let's come back to that, because I have some questions around that.
Sure.
Next question that I would love for you to address is around this idea of others in our lives who have created or showed us a different way of being, of existing, of thinking. Is there a person or maybe experience or experiences that you can tap into and share with us that's helped you to feel more love and to feel someone sees you and hears you and honors you?
Oh, wow. Absolutely. The 12-step anonymous programs. So when I got sober, oh, good God, I was a wreck. I didn't know anything. And I was such a jumble of want and yearning. And I was in such terrible turmoil. So when I actually went to AA to prove that I wasn't an alcoholic. I've been abusing, the alcohol for years. I started drinking at a very young age, and it felt perfect. Drinking felt like I fit into my skin finally. So when I started going to AA, I was determined to show everybody that this is bullshit. I'm absolutely fine. But I went, and I was immediately in tears, because what they were talking about resonated with me. I'm one of them. So, I saw a lot of pain and a lot of turmoil, but here's a group. We weren't talking about money. We weren't talking about status. We weren't talking about trying to blame others. And of course, when you're young in your recovery, absolutely, we're trying to blame everything else. But the people, the older ones who had a lot of sobriety, showed us the way. So it was really a matter of just one moment at a time. Just try to stay sober for today. And then you would just go to the meetings and you would be of service. You showed up, you either made coffee or you were opening the door. We helped other alcoholics or drunks. And it was beautiful. It was compassionate. We were together. We understood each other's pain. We understood each other's recovery. And it wasn't just AA. I mean, I was abusing food. It's very easy to jump from addiction to addiction. I've done it all, the alcohol, the food, the work. So I was also going to Overeaters Anonymous. Now, most people think Overeaters Anonymous is full of these big fat people. We called ourselves all sorts of sizes. We were all sorts of sizes. You just had a problem with compulsive eating. That's why you go to OA. So I went to OA, I went to AA, and there were incredible people there with such resilience and strength and hope and spirituality and, the physical recovery. So the love that I felt in those rooms was incredible. It was amazing. It guided me and still guides me. I don't go anywhere like I used to, but it was my life. That I hung on for dear life to the people who were sober or abstinent, and they helped me make my life better.
Wow. When you think of community builders and champions of change, what characteristics are consistent? What makes them who they are in their being, in their desire to create positive change consistently in their world?
Devotion. I think of devotion of not just, my parents. I saw a lot of devotion in them. They had pretty intense, messed up lives. My dad had, he had mental illness. My mom was just emotionally, we traveled the world. They had a lot of issues, but I always saw the devotion. Somehow the devotion would follow through. And a lot of us, even healers, we can be pretty not necessarily aligned. Just because we're healers, it doesn't mean we're aligned. We all have our struggles. We all have things to release or to repair. And one of the things, if we can have that devotion, with devotion comes resilience. With that comes faith. And we just know that there is work to do, and let us devote ourselves to our commitment. So those are some of the things I feel. Absolutely compassion. Compassion, you could see when somebody is connected and cares, and the compassion flows and the devotion flows and the resilient and the work flows. So those are some of the traits I connect immediately with. When you and I were talking, we could feel each other's energy. We talked about big things yesterday. And a lot of it is, I'm devoted to this path and you're devoted to your path.
Yes. And as you were speaking, I feel like the hairs are like just standing up behind my ears, and I feel like I need to itch it, which always tells me that, there's truth being spoken right now. When you are spending your energy and your time, I know your work is all around healing and helping and listening and being compassionate. Are there other movements specifically or causes specifically that you would like to highlight or feature, that you are giving of your time and your energy and resources, that you are personally helping to advance forward?
I am busy, but I want to give to community. And for the longest time, it's like, it made me feel good just to give money, which I do. I still do. I support at least three charities a month, and I will always do that. And several of them are very, very important to me. I've given to all sorts of charities. When it comes to children, that's very, very important to me, because I know what it's like to not feel safe. A big one for me is the work I go do in Fauquier Hospital. Though I don't do that much Reiki. Reiki is a very specific energy modality. I do a lot of free form. We started off with working with the infusion, in the infusion room with the cancer patients. And we go in there and bless Fauquier Hospital or be up where they get it. They may not understand it. The medical community may not understand a lot of this healing work, but they're like, by God, stop this working. So they've invited us in. And now our work has spread to the staff. Nurses, doctors, staff are coming in, even seeing us for 15, 20 minutes. And we do some energy and they're feeling the shift. Again, they may not understand everything, but they know that there's something happening, frequencies being raised. So I love doing that work, trying to do it a little bit more often. I support a dear charity of mine that I've supported for many, many years is IJM, International Justice Mission. Their work is incredible. They work with a lot of sex trafficking. They work with, freeing slaves. They work with law enforcement, either taking care of the corrupt cops or they're actually working with the police to help put traffickers in jail. So that work is, to me, just amazing.
Powerful. Well, you have shared so much with us today, and you have been so gracious and truly vulnerable with so much love. It's appreciated. When you've gone through those very difficult times, Rebecca, is there a philosophy or a motto, scripture or quote, anything that you consistently draw from that helps you to remember that you are safe, that you are held, that everything is going to be okay and you can move forward?
Yes, I go to the word a lot, emerge. One of the things I do to try to live in full expression, full potential, full creativity is I design gemstone jewelry and started a series of jewelry. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You got the feather.
Gifts. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And one of these series of the bracelets I made, I started off calling them power bracelets because a lot of people call their bracelets power bracelets. And I'm like, I don't need more power. I need to emerge. I need to emerge from my stuck places. So I started calling them emergence bracelets. And, it would be hematite and then a focus stone, whatever we're working on, self-love, detox. And so I love the word emergence, emerge. I really believe that we can work our emerge path and then we are free to go. So emerge, you are free to go, free to be, free to do.
Love it. So when you imagine a better world, what does it look like through your eyes?
Connection. One of the things I love to do is I try build. I work with a friend of mine, Ray Roach, and we just do random things like, hey, let's do a dinner here, let's do a get together here, and then we try to invite everybody because I think connection is huge. I mean, connection is what makes sense of all the work we do. It is how we can express to each other. It is how we can raise each other. It is how we can help each other through our pain or through our joy. So to me, the big one is connection. When I think of tribe, I don't think of us running around giggling and having a good time. I think of lonely people who now have a chance to have some connectivity and connection and a deepening of togetherness.
Powerful. What can you share with us about where you are today that would help us to help you? What are one or two things that our community can do to support you and to elevate you and to advance your mission or missions?
Let people know that we have missing links, and our missing links in the way we recover or try to evolve is release physically, release from our body, our tension, our stress, our trauma. We've done the mind work, we've done the emotion work. A lot of us are trying to do the spiritual work, but one of the missing links is our body. Our body keeps score. And the other one is energy. Energy is ancient, it's vast, it's free. We all have access to energy. In our minds, we still feel, we're either stuck or we're just a little human being, and energy is everywhere. We emit it. We are so powerful. You and I were talking yesterday about that whole DNA experiment, and DNA experiments are showing us that even when we are not present and our DNA is not present, we are there. And so energetically, we can access energy within minutes. We can use it for our own purposes to help others. So how to help is, let's start talking about what we can do somatically to help our body release the things that it needs to. And let's start accessing energy so we can evolve and accelerate faster.
So powerful, insightful, spiritual. And beyond that, it really allows us to remember that we are in these beautiful physical bodies, and it's our temple. And it's ancient as well. I mean, it's not just of this lifetime, it's many things that we've collected in this life, around us, in the air, and multiple lives.
Oh, yes.
That, right? So I think this is very powerful, and it's wonderful to be able to share something new to those that are not exposed to energy healing, energy modalities, also with your training and the exercises to really help us guide our physical beings into also a place of harmony and joy and peace. I so appreciate you, Rebecca. I've learned so much from you in such a short period of time, and I look forward to continuing to share your knowledge and your insight and your experience with our community, because we can empower each other with knowledge. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Molly.
You're so welcome. For those that are watching, thank you again for following us always. We appreciate you very much for being a part of our network, a part of our community, a part of our tribe. Please remember to nominate yourself or someone in your community who is making a huge difference. And you can do so by visiting us at nebula.soarcommunitynetwork.com. Thank you.
I know plenty of incredible people, and I will definitely be sending them to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Molly. Take care.